Hi, everyone. I'm Professor Jordan, and today I want to talk for a few minutes about analytic integrity and what it means to let the data speak for itself. This is important because sometimes our results are strong, and sometimes our results are weak, and sometimes our results just aren't what we want them to be. Our job is to report the story as it is. It's to look at the evidence and explain it honestly. So, what is analytic integrity? What does it mean? Analytic integrity means that we report what the data actually shows. It means that we don't decide what we want the answer to be first and then try to make the numbers support our what we want our conclusion to be. It means we separate evidence from opinion. And if the relationship is strong, we say it's strong. And if the relationship is weak, and we say it's weak. And if the model has limits, we say that too. Good analysis is about reporting the results, it's about making the results accurate. We report what the data shows. So, what you see here is an example of it's what we call a strong example. So, in this scatter plot, we see study hours and exam score and how they correlate together. Um, what you see is that between study hours and exam score, they show a clear upward pattern. And as study hours increases, we also see that the exam scores also tend to increase. So what this says is that there's a positive relationship that appears to be strong. And you'll also notice that the points are fairly close together. And that tells us that the relationship is fairly strong. In a case like this, an analyst could reasonably say that the data supports a stronger predictive claim. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to be a perfect prediction, but it does mean that there's a pattern, and the pattern is clear enough to support a more confident interpretation. But what do we do if we have a weak example? Let's look at this example we have on the screen. And here, there may be a slight upward pattern, but the points are much more spread out. And that means that the relationship is weak. An analyst shouldn't look at this and say training clearly predicts productivity in a strong way. A better interpretation would be that the data suggests a weak positive relationship, but prediction would be limited. And this is where analytic integrity comes in and where it becomes important. We don't just ignore the pattern, and we also don't try to exaggerate it. We have to report what the data actually shows. And here, the data shows that the correlation between the training hours and productivity is weak. So, a lot of bad analysis is it's not caused by the math. It's caused by bias. Confirmation bias happens when we start with what we want to believe and try to make the results support a conclusion that we already have in our heads. And we go out and we look for support for what we want to be true. So, cherry picking, that happens when we focus only on pieces that help our argument. And another common problem is overstating weak results and leaving out uncertainty. Analysts also sometimes confuse correlation with causation. So, just because two things move together doesn't mean that one is caused by the other. These are the habits that can break analytic integrity. So, what should an analyst do? One, start with the question, then review the evidence. After that, describe the pattern as it is. Report the data that you see as you see it. The data is the data. You're not going to change that. And don't stop at direction alone. Explain how strong the relationship is. Then state the limitations. If the data is noisy, say that. If the result is weak, say that. If the model should be cautiously used, say that too. Finally, make recommendations that match the strength of the evidence. Strong evidence can support stronger recommendations. Weak evidence calls for caution, but always remember the most important thing: the data is the data. So remember that strong results are important, but weak results are important too. And unexpected results are still results. The data is what it is. Our job is to report it and interpret it honestly and explain what the data actually is clearly. That is what analytic integrity looks like. It's not extra, it's a part of doing analysis well. And if you remember one thing from this presentation, it's this: let the data speak for itself. You guys have a good night.